Welcome to the Biohack Method. I am Lindsay Burwell. I break down the science, cut the fluff, and give you real tools to optimize your body with peptides, transdermal patches, and root cause biohacking that actually works. Welcome back to the Biohack Method podcast. I have Rylie here today with VitalAz, and I was so pumped to have him here because he takes care of our family. He's the best. And he's what I call a concierge doctor. DPC, direct primary care, which just basically means your provider comes to you. It's a game changer. But I wanted to dive all into things. He's had a crazy health journey, health transformation from getting out of the health insurance model to doing things himself in his way, and just kind of learning the more biohacking ways of optimizing and all that good stuff. So thanks so much for being here.
Of course.
So fun
Thanks
to dive
for
in.
having me.
So I'm so curious. You have now is it 1,300 families or patients?
1,300 patients.
And so now how many practitioners do you have?
We have 3 full-times, 1 part-time.
3 full-times, 1 part-time?
Yeah.
And because when I met you, it was just you.
Yeah.
When have you seen the most growth? Has it been in the last couple of years, or would you say what's built the most momentum and awareness to this type of model for healthcare?
Yeah. I mean, most of it's been through social media.
Yeah.
It's an uphill battle for people to understand the whole cash pay thing, and even from the health share thing. Insurance is what's been drilled in people's heads forever. So to try and not convince them, but show them that there's a easier, simpler way to do it.
Yeah.
It's like most things, certain things you get what you pay for, and health insurance is just like that, just like the fast pass at Disneyland, everyone knows what that benefit is.
Yeah.
This is kind of a fast pass for healthcare sort of thing of how can you get better access to what everyone else is kind of getting?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I actually want to talk about that. So, women that I work with a lot of the time, they're trying to find, modalities to optimize their health, right? And really health insurance is kind of always been the one thing we think about when we need to go see a doctor and get our labs drawn and all these different things. And so I want to kind of help also, let's expand on what model of healthcare and support you offer versus a traditional health insurance, because so many people don't understand. And you probably are oh, they're starting to get to know, but I'll tell you, even from my perspective, most people think they need to pay health insurance. It's required by law or something every year to pay for health insurance. And I had shared with you, I worked for Cigna for a long time, and I saw, working with national brands, their benefit strategy, their benefit plans that they offer to their clients. And even for me, having health insurance is what kept me stuck at my job for so long. Because I thought it was this very important benefit that we needed, life insurance, it kept us safe and whatnot. And what I learned was that health insurance, like you mentioned, is really for catastrophic care, because you have your premium that you pay every month, which it's probably so much more now, but let's say it's $500 to $1,000 a month. You're paying that monthly bill, and that usually doesn't even pay then for your benefits. So when you go to the doctor or when you go to the urgent care, you go to the hospital, you still have to pay up to your co-insurance amount, or your deductible amount. So let's say that's a $5,000 deductible. So you have to pay $5,000. Once you pay the $5,000, then your co-insurance kicks in. So then that's really where health insurance becomes a benefit. After you've paid, $12,000. Then they'll cover 70 to 80% of certain things. And that can bankrupt people.
Absolutely.
And they have health insurance. And the other part that I struggled with is it forces you to choose your provider in a certain category. You don't have freedom to choose. I love Rylie. He's just so great and everyone loves to work with. Nope. If you want it covered under our umbrella, you have to choose these ones. There's no autonomy there. And so tell us about how you work with clients and how it's not with the health insurance model. So, and maybe help people understand the difference and maybe the benefit.
So, I mean, even just with what you touched on, referrals, for if you're on an HMO plan and you need a referral to a urologist, you have to get an appointment with your insurance designated PCP, who then refers you to the urologist. It's such a waste of time, for you to
Yeah.
have to make 2 appointments just to make 1 appointment
Yeah.
and then wait for the approval. We see that with imaging all the time. I order an MRI for someone. We've got all the notes in the chart, everything to support it, and then the insurance kicks their feet for 2 weeks and then they deny it.
Mhm.
And then the patient realizes they can pay $200 for the $300 for the MRI instead of the $750 copay,
Mhm.
and they could have had it done 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that where just healthcare waste of our goal is time and healthcare efficiency.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where, you get a hold of us through text. We communicate with you very efficiently,
Mhm.
same day, next day, and just really handhold people through navigating healthcare. Um, we call it family practice. So, I mean, we do all the newborns, which I love. We do, the well child checks, the
Mhm.
urgent care visits, and then the adult side of things too. Um, as you've kind of gone on your journey, we have as well too, and we're always willing to learn. So people talk to us about the different peptides and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And so a lot of what I've learned over the last few years has been almost patient initiated, of them going, "Hey, I'm interested in this. What do
Yeah.
you know about it?" And I'm like, "I don't know much, but I'll figure it out," and
Yeah.
or try it myself. And
Yeah.
I've loved exploring that aspect of healthcare too.
I think this is so cool because I feel like not many providers will admit that they're not all knowing and that because I feel like in school you learn what you need to learn, right? Like
Yeah.
out of a textbook, this is what you need to know. But really, would you say like the majority of your experience and like what you know is just from boots on the ground and conversations with people in your own health journey, and then your own research and diving deeper into certain things that seem to be working really well, or maybe gaps where like you didn't learn that much in school, like whether it be like, peptides, obviously it's
Yeah.
not something probably in the textbooks, but things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with technology and ChatGPT and all of that, like, your patients can come to you with a lot of information, and you may be incorrect to some degree on what you're telling them, compared to what some research would show. So you just have to be more open,
Yeah.
and that's a way to make patients upset very quickly, is if you shut down, their way of thinking or their thought process.
Yeah.
And you have to remain a little bit more open these days if you
Mhm.
want to have patients entertain you as a reasonable, clinician,
Yeah.
and not just this dismissive, no, this is what it is, your labs are normal,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
I loved what you said, how when you worked like in a office taking insurance and seeing patients in like the classic, um, you know, platform, if you will, that you felt like you worked more for insurance than you did for the patient.
Absolutely.
Like you went and probably got into this work to help people feel better
Right.
and to take care of themselves and figure out what is causing those blocks and help them on, in achieving health. But when you're in it, like, what was that like? You're like, yes, I got my degree. I'm doing the work
Yeah,
that I love. And you're like seeing how many patients a day
like 40 to 50,
in a 8-hour period or 12-hour
12
period.
hours usually.
Like that's not enough. That's too many people to even remember their names.
I know. Yeah. And hopefully you've done your charting for the day. If it's the next day and then you see another 40 or 50, now you're charting on 90 people that, all came in with the same issues, and you can't remember any of one person. So
Oh my gosh. So tell us like how you got out of that and then how you got into then AZ and like
yeah.
what prompted all of that. What has that been like?
So I was doing those 12-hour shifts, 50 patients a day, and that was in my late 20s, and that was my worst, from a lab standpoint, my worst testosterone in my late 20s, and all my labs just like bad. I felt horrible. I went to my PCP at the time. He said I was depressed, which kind of shook me because I didn't feel depressed, and to hear that from someone else was like, am I depressed? Like, I don't feel depressed. So,
Yeah.
ended up starting on some psych meds, Lexapro and stuff like that. And, looking back, there were no questions on, hey, what's your sleep look like? What's your stress look like? How many days you get into the gym? What's your food look like? I was bringing lunch to work, but I would literally work a 12-hour shift and eat my lunch on the way home at 9 o'clock at night. So my cortisol was just like through the roof.
Yeah.
And so it was what I felt just a real band-aid approach at the time, and kind of made me go on my own health journey of like, hey, I feel like I eat decent. I work out a couple days a week, but like I don't feel very good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew I couldn't do that for another 40 years of I'm miserable, my health is not great. I want to be better at parenting, and something that you, I think, go for is just mental clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've really just tried to hone in on like, how do I stay mentally clear each day? And brain fog, something I really struggled with. So
Mm-hmm.
I was doing house calls 1 day a week for a company, and I really liked that. And so that's where we kind of launched with Vital to go, hey, let's start house call. This is a really cool, convenient way to do healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if this works.
Were you scared to take that leap of like, I'm leaving this job that is all that I've known, and really a lot of what the industry knows,
Yeah.
and like consumers too,
Yeah.
because before you started, again, 2021, I had never seen anybody do this. And
Yeah.
I also feel like maybe like it was like for the rich and famous, or to have a
Yeah.
doctor come to your
Right.
house.
Concierge. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what? Even when I'll tell
Yeah.
people, they're like, what? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Yeah. It was interesting at first, because you're going to these houses for the first, they've never had someone that does what you do show up at their house before.
Yeah.
And when I used to work in my old job, I had one really fancy guy up in Fountain Hills,
Mm-hmm.
and I was nervous. He was like probably my richest client at the time, and I just, especially as a PA and not an MD, I never had that imposter syndrome. Never felt like enough. And so he really helped me to feel like I know what I'm doing and I'm confident in what I'm doing. And so when I rolled into this, it was a little bit easier for me to, go into people's homes and feel comfortable, for different CEOs and high level people, and to
Mm-hmm.
provide, really good healthcare to them, and know that it was all mine and in the exact way that I would want it to be done
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome. And so tell me about, like, you talked about mental clarity and how like you realized that was something so important for you to like really show up for your life.
Yeah.
And would you say most people don't even know what mental clarity is because they're operating at like that, like just brain fog constantly? Would you say that's like a thing that you notice?
I don't even think they realize that that's what they're in.
Yeah.
Like,
How would you describe brain fog? Let's say like somebody is listening, because it's I say this because I have had days where I've had brain fog,
yeah,
and it's so debilitating.
yeah,
And realizing like some people just, that's their normal
right,
operation mode.
right.
And so like I'm trying to help get people granular on like knowing if they have brain fog or not. So
Right.
how would you describe like that state of being that you would feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard if it's not an on-off sort of thing
Yeah.
of where it comes and goes, but usually just that almost like a light buzz where you're just, maybe your balance is slightly off if you turn your head a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
You feel a little bit dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
You're slow to think. You can't, put words together.
Yeah.
You just don't feel there. You feel like you took a 3-hour nap and you woke up and you're just kind of in that groggy post-nap state.
Yeah.
But you're trying to get through work or being with your kids or holding a conversation, and it's all you can do just to like be present.
Yeah. And now, what has been the biggest thing for you to shift? Like, so realizing I need more mental clarity. Like, I want to really step into this, like taking, like owning my day and not feeling like
Yeah.
my day's owning me, right?
Yeah.
Like, what has been the biggest thing that has helped you shift into that and like clearing some of that mental fog?
Yeah, I feel like working out for me, like I was always, I did CrossFit maybe 3 days a week, but then I worked those 12s and then I'd do nothing. And now I'm a pretty religious, 5, 6 day a week in the morning. And it's not a like kill yourself thing. I've totally gotten over that of like, hey, let's do, intense high rep, high intensity cardio for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of sauna, I do some red light, and just have that hour to kind of think for myself
Mm-hmm.
before I get run over by everything else the world throws at me for the day.
Yeah.
And that just kind of sets my mind in a better spot than just waking up and being reactive to every little thing that hits me as the day goes on.
Okay. And I'm thinking too of something that I forget. Oh, you posted about it on your social media. Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah,
That book
amazing.
like changed my life, and you recommended it to me,
Yeah,
or to the world. You recommended it to me on social media. You're like, Lindsay, I'm speaking to you. No, because I even noticed a shift in like how you were showing up.
Yeah.
And since I've now been kind of more cognizant on like where my time is going,
Yeah.
because I think that whether you own a business or not, like there is just so many competing priorities when you wake up.
Absolutely.
And it's like just one, it's like reframing like what is the most important thing I need to be doing right now, and then like time blocking that so you're more productive, because our brain cannot multitask.
Yep.
Like, and as women, like we're really good at having a million folders open and thinking we can like juggle in between the folders, but really like it's the most inefficient use of our time. I've since reading that book really realized like trying to do it all in like one day is so inefficient, and instead like literally time blocking.
Yeah.
So now, and I'm curious what you do, but like right now I've been really honing in on like when I have a project, like I'm sitting down with that person and we're doing that project like together during this time block, and I'm not even going to think about it before or after or like try to get something done in between. Like it's like showing up like 100% in the moment of what needs to get done, and almost just like side tabling like the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what are the big things from that book, How to Buy Back Your Time, that you've implemented that has like been huge for you?
Yeah. I just brought that up last week with my wife. I think I read that back in February.
Yeah.
And right as I started reading it, I was running late. I wasn't staying on time, and I like messed up a baseball practice. It messed up my wife getting out the door, and I came home 45 minutes late. And I was telling her, I was like, I don't think I've been late once since then. Like that was it. And I don't write out I was going, okay, at 9:45 I'm doing this, at 10 o'clock I'm doing this, and I would pre-write my whole day.
Yeah.
And I don't do that anymore, but it's become such repetition and just the norm for me that like I don't miss practice anymore. Like when I need to be home at 5, like I structure my day in a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
Just because of that book and the way that it kind of changed my patterns of thoughts.
Do you feel like you've also restructured your company a little bit? Because I've seen you grown.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just you anymore.
Yeah.
So like maybe did that empower you to like bring on more support, so you're maybe not working in your business, but you're working on your business, like to grow and scale probably?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like the whole delegation thing. And my question all the time is like, do I need to be doing this, or can someone else do that?
Yeah.
And I really rely on other people now to go, okay, I could do this, but it'll take me 5 minutes. It'll also take me 10 seconds to send it to them, and then it's done.
Yeah.
Which is hard, to offer that trust or have that trust in other people. But it's good once you lighten the load from that aspect.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have some like big hot topic questions that I want your opinion on.
Okay.
'Cause I feel like people will want to know like what does like a physician think about these things. But I feel like it's a hot topic that's coming up. So we kind of talked about peptides.
Yeah.
So we'll start with an easy one.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on peptides? Have you tried peptides? If you have, which ones? Kind of tell me all of that.
Yeah. So yeah, peptides, I've jumped into, mostly the male side of things on those. I did some Orlin for maybe 6 months.
How did you feel?
Yeah, some of the stuff, and this is why in this whole biohacking space, like you have to have your variables so lined up so that when you change one thing, you actually know if it's
It's that, yeah.
And I think that's what's so hard about some people is they're just like, okay, McDonald's today, but then I didn't, and their variables are too. So for us, it's a little bit easier to look at, hey, did this make a difference or not?
Yeah.
And so I'm always, there's a psychological benefit of going, hey, here's what I'm told this is supposed to do for me.
Yeah.
And thinking, it might be doing that for you. So I did it for 6 months. I also did some carnivore stuff at the time. I did lose quite a bit of weight. So, I feel like it helped a little bit.
And Simorelin is of the family of growth hormone, right?
Yeah.
It increases growth hormone. So did you sleep really good? Did you notice any change in sleep?
Yes and no. I wasn't sleep tracking back then.
Yeah.
I did get the vivid dreams.
Okay.
But I have noticed, so most guys will do that. But if I do any females on Simorelin, they don't get the dreams.
Here's what's weird. These growth hormones, so like CJC, ipamorelin, Simorelin, I'm noticing, because I work with clients who like peptides too, I'm noticing really anyone under like 50, they don't really feel a huge, amazing change on these growth hormone peptides.
Yeah.
But like I have clients who are like, 50, 55, 60 that do feel it. They do feel a sense of vitality.
Yeah.
And so I started kind of digging into it. And this is just like from what I was reading, is that growth hormone really doesn't start plummeting until you're like mid 40s, 50,
Okay.
right? And that's like, yeah, that like growth hormone that like gives you vitality. Like
Right.
think of like a baby,
Yeah.
like Craig has a little newborn baby, and how they sleep so much.
Yeah.
They're just like sleeping so hard, and their growth hormone is so high because they are growing, they're repairing, right? Like
Yeah.
they get hurt, they repair fast, they sleep hard, they recover fast. And when you're a little, same thing, you have a fast metabolism, all these things. So
Okay, quick pause because I need to tell you about something that is literally changing the game for metabolism, energy, detox, and even your immune system. You guys know I don't like to waste my time on gimmicks. And also, after seeing so many clients that are just tired of taking the pills, not knowing if their body's even absorbing it, and transparently trying to help my kids detox from all the toxins, I just needed a different approach. And that's why I created the patch method. These are transdermal supplement patches, which means no pills, no powders, no gut breakdown. Literally just stick it on and let your body absorb exactly what it needs, whether it's detox, metabolism, energy, or like I said, even your immune system. We have a patch for it. It's truly biohacking made simple. And the best part, you actually feel the difference. So if you're ready to level up your health routine, make it so simple, head to thepatchmethod.com, grab your patches. Trust me, you will never look at supplements the same way again.
when you hit like 55 or 50, 55, the growth hormone plummets. And that's where people will feel like, yeah, I'm just like, I don't feel as strong. I'm not sleeping as good. I don't have as good a recovery, you know, all those like things. And then you take the growth hormone, it's like, oh, feels so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they're expensive.
They are expensive.
Like CGC and Ipamorelin. But I feel like they're marketed like to women right now, at least, like take CJC and like if you want to lose weight. And I'm like, that's not really the mechanism of it. Like it's great for when it's needed, for when you truly are like you made your growth hormone is probably fine.
Yeah.
So you probably took it and you're like,
I don't know.
I feel maybe different because you're in like elite shape, right? But for someone who, you know, isn't taking care of themselves and older, could benefit, and they could feel the difference.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Okay, what other ones have you tried?
Some are interesting. Like I haven't tried the melanotan.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yep. Melanotan.
That's awesome. So yeah. Oh, I did BPC for a while.
Okay. Did you have an injury or were you just testing it or?
Yeah, I was like 6 months into a wrist thing that just was not going away.
Yeah.
And so the shot form still worries me a little bit. Like I won't do the shot form to have patients inject with the needle wherever, you know, their injury is.
Yeah.
Does sketch me out a little bit.
Because if they hit maybe like a nerve or maybe
a vein.
vein.
Yeah. So, and the research I've done says that it is orally absorbed or gut absorbed anyways.
Yeah.
So just taking it orally increases that naturally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if one's better than the other, but I do feel like that helped move the needle for sure on the injury that I had. Yeah.
That's so great. Have you tried any GLPs?
I've never done a GLP.
What are your thoughts on GLPs?
I mean, just like you talked about, like the Ipamorelin and those, like if you just look from a cost standpoint, like the potential benefit of GLPs is just blows those out of the water.
I know. And I feel like people feel it, like they feel it.
Yeah.
Ipamorelin and them, you're like,
maybe pulling at strings.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's such a huge benefit for a lot of people on those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously there's a lot of like, are you the right person for it? And you need someone to really walk you through like, what does this look like? You know, again, you have to have an optimized diet and the protein. If you just jump on it, like people used to do with phentermine, you know, back in the day, but they don't change anything else, then, you know, it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
But if all your boxes are checked and then you add a GLP-1 on there, you know, in low dose, yeah, I've seen some really good stuff.
Have you seen a lot of your female clients like want, or even male clients? I feel like actually I hear a lot of guys. So I'll work with the wives and they'll like, from my perspective, everyone wants to be on a peptide.
Yeah.
And then I'll have them be like, hey, my husband's going to take some too, you know, but they like, the husbands are like, don't tell anyone I'm on GLP. Because it's like,
Yeah.
I still feel like there's taboo
Yeah.
in general where even people are like, well, I don't want anyone to know.
Right.
But I see the landscape changing a lot in like the last few years. So I'm curious, do you have a lot of like your mom, like the moms you're working with and like husbands being like, I want to try?
Yeah.
Or like, what are your thoughts? Like,
Yeah, exactly like you said. Guys are like, yeah, maybe I'll do it. I will say long term, and I know that's all kind of still developing and stuff, but the guys are definitely more like jump on it for 3 months, lose what they want, and then they're done.
yeah.
I think for females, it's a struggle of like, hey, I feel great, I've lost this weight, I don't want to gain it back. So then becomes the mental side of like, how do I maintain this
Yeah.
without feeling like crud?
Yeah.
Eating enough calories and making sure that this thing isn't going to like cause problems long term.
And I think that's why it's even more important for people to go into it not as like a quick fix.
Yeah.
Like this is a vehicle to help you dial in the foundations. And honestly, like I'm always like, look, these peptides they weren't designed for weight loss.
Yeah.
They actually were designed to fix blood sugar
Yeah.
and insulin, right? And when you fix blood sugar and insulin, when you're metabolically flexible and that process is like in great shape, then the byproduct of that is a healthy metabolic body, which then the byproduct can be weight loss,
Yeah.
right? So if you go into it like, I want to fix blood sugar and insulin, and I'm going to do that by protein, fiber, fats, exercise, strength train, microdose of GLP to really move the needle on that insulin and blood sugar.
Yeah.
Then you titrate off, but you keep those habits in place.
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients who don't gain the weight back.
Yeah.
But what I do notice is that people do like to have some on hand for like a little booster.
Yeah.
Like if the holidays are coming up or like about to go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because there is something happening with the GLPs systemically with inflammation. That's so instant.
Yeah.
And I think like regardless of like, let's say someone lost like 20 pounds on it and then they get off, inflammation is inevitable in today's world.
Right.
Because like Wi-Fi
Right.
can cause inflammation, like radiation from an airplane can like inflame your cells. And that can feel like a couple pounds you gained or something, when really it's just, there's like a hyper inflammatory response happening.
For sure.
And so, but there is a mechanism somehow with those peptides that that's calming that down.
Yeah.
And so that's personally what I see is like women are like, they're on it, they get to their goal weight and they feel great and then they'll titrate off, but then like just want a little booster here and there. Not be like dependent, but
Yeah. And that's what I love about compounding those. It's so flexible.
Yeah.
Like I'll lengthen people out, hey, let's do every 10 days, let's do every 14 days, let's do, even smaller.
Yeah.
Versus just these kind of one and done
needle, like the
doses
injectable, whatever those are. Okay, talking about peptides, what are your thoughts on things like ketamine therapy? And explain too what it is, because I can guarantee a lot of people don't know what that one is.
Yeah, so ketamine, the best description I've seen of it is the comparison to skiing. And if we went down the same ski slope 100 times, you'd build some grooves in that slope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, a PTSD event, hey, I had something happen in my pool. Every time I'm around in a pool, that's where my mind goes. You're going down those same tracks.
Yeah.
What ketamine does is throw a fresh coat of snow on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you see a pool and you're not going straight down that path again. You've got new and alternative paths to go.
Okay.
And so I've seen folks that have struggled with PTSD for years and years and tried everything, and like 1 or 2 sessions of ketamine and like a different person, which is crazy. I've also seen people that have gone 30, 40, 50 times and, still struggling with the same issues. So again, not for everyone, but for those folks, I do have some folks that have been, in and out of jail or DUIs and just very mentally unstable. And I'm just like, 1 or 2 treatments of ketamine could literally change their life. Like, just do it.
And ketamine's not considered like plant medicine. It's like an actual drug, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been used in ERs for like sedation for years.
Okay.
If a kid went in and I dislocated my elbow when I was 15. And so they gave me ketamine to sedate me as they reset my elbow.
Okay.
It's a pretty tame, light sedation medication.
And like, I don't know if you've done any, like now I'm like, I want to research more about this, but like, where did they decide? It had to have been recently because I feel like ketamine just kind of started taking off. But like, where did they learn and figure out that like this sedative drug can help people create new neural pathways in the brain, and now we're going to use it in like wellness clinics.
Right.
Like, where did that all happen?
I honestly, I don't know. Like,
So
if
weird.
it came from ER, I don't know if people were coming home like
Happy.
magically not depressed anymore, and they were like, "What happened?" But yeah, I haven't looked into that enough to know where they dove off of. But I mean, kind of like the GLP-1s of like, okay, this is for diabetes, but now we're seeing this. And so sometimes you're not even like focusing on this, and then you just find that.
Yeah. Is ketamine legal in every state? Do you know?
I don't.
It's legal here though,
Yeah.
right? But we have to go to like a clinic.
You do,
Okay.
and not all clinics are the same.
Okay.
The best experience I've had, because I've never done ketamine, but apparently it's kind of a journey as you do it. Have you done it?
I've never done no, and I'm so I'm so interested in like all the biohacking like things, and I've had people ask me about it, and I've known some people who've done it, but I just don't know like all the details, I guess. Yeah.
Well, and so for me, like this same thing of like neural pathways, like I have some clinical neural pathways that I want to keep. And so it's like,
Oh yeah.
if you do ketamine, does it remove some of those things? Like, so that's my hesitation. But the best one I found, you finish the session and then you do a counseling session right after.
Okay.
So you deal with all the stuff you just went through.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, oh my gosh, that was like a crazy dream. And then you're just left to go home and kind of deal with it on your own.
That's so important, like the integration part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like integrating what you experience into like your life to make your life better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess if people are like, if this would be good for somebody, it sounds like, who maybe has those like hamster wheel thoughts and they've tried everything. Maybe they even tried antidepressants. They've tried all the herbs to like calm their thoughts down. They're like white knuckling it. Maybe they even tried therapy.
Yeah.
So ketamine would be a good option potentially for somebody who like really just mentally does feel stuck and it's taking away their quality of life. But they do need to probably find like a qualified practitioner that does some of the integration work, whatever. Okay, it's going to be so interesting, I think, to see like in the next few years, like the landscape of things coming out to help with health that seem very non-traditional, which leads me to my next question. I'm dying to know your opinion. Okay, what are your thoughts on plant medicine like psilocybin?
Yeah. I
it feels very taboo to talk about though. I feel like, but I'm like full transparency. I'm like super interested in it.
Yeah. Going back to our whole, like, I want to be in control, I want mental clarity. That's the part I struggle with.
Okay.
Like, I've only used marijuana once or twice.
Yeah.
And absolutely does not agree with me.
Yeah.
Like, as an anxious person, having that lack of control is not for me. So, I don't know.
Have you though? You do a lot of research on like, all the trends and stuff coming up. I feel like, have you been hearing more about like psilocybin plant medicine being like a thing? Like a lot of the top experts are using it, recommending it. Like, I know for you, you're like, probably not for me because I know me and I know I don't want to like be out of control of my body. But like, do you have any initial thoughts about it? Like, are you at all intrigued on like the science coming out and the research coming out about like what it's doing for people or?
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of back to my ketamine story of my guy I've known for years with PTSD. I've seen him do ketamine and now he's doing awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not for me, I'll use those examples of, okay, this patient went and did some psilocybin.
Yeah.
I have very close relationships with my patients. I can text them all the time. And so I can really check in and see if I notice or if they've noticed any differences from something like that.
Yeah.
So I use that probably.
Yeah. That's so fun. So I went to this mastermind in California this last weekend and a girl was there and so she's an ex-attorney and she now is a psychedelic facilitator.
Okay.
It's so wild, right? You're like, attorney? Psychedelics. But she's amazing and her story is so good. I'm going to have her on a podcast. But what she described, which is why I like started doing more research too, is she was saying that, psilocybin is a mushroom. She's not
Yeah.
talking about like ayahuasca or anything.
Yeah.
Like she's talking about literal plant, like mushroom, microdosing
Yeah.
mushrooms. And she said, our bodies, and I believe this, like we are more than just a body.
Yeah.
Like we are not just what we eat and like this like, this like skin on our body. Like,
Yeah.
we are very emotional and spiritual beings.
Yeah.
And so much of health is not addressing that. Like we're like, eat healthy, work out, do this, but like we aren't slowing down enough to like have those conversations about like our spirit and like
Right.
our emotional well-being. And I do feel like sometimes we're talking about nervous system
Yeah.
and cortisol and
Yeah.
reducing stress, managing stress, but like it is truly just as powerful as what you eat and
Yeah.
how you move your body. And the thing with the psilocybin and what she described it to me was that culturally, we are now at this place where we like, it's just like do more, be more, achieve more, go, go, go. Like we are so dysregulated,
Yeah.
right? And our nervous system is on hyperdrive. Like if you were to pull us back to like old times, it would look like we were being chased to die at all
Right.
times, right?
Right.
And what the mushrooms do is they just soften you, like soften your ego, soften those hard parts that make you believe that you do need to do more, be more, and go, 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 go.
Yeah.
It just like it softens you enough to just like be more present
Yeah.
and experience life more in the moment and like
Gotcha.
notice, like she was even saying, like you'll notice like all your senses will be heightened where you like, you're so much more engaged in this conversation and you're not thinking about the other conversations or like the weather that day, you're like so much more aware of how beautiful it is. Like, or like you cooked a meal and you're just like, these flavors are incredible together.
Yeah.
Like it just makes you experience life like almost more by being more, being less rigid and hard and more like soft and spiritually just like open,
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, that's such an interesting, I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely want to look into it more, but it just seems so interesting.
I like that. I was trying to think back to like caveman days, and that sounds a lot like that, of just like enjoy very simplicity.
Yeah. Or even like Italy. This is what's crazy to me. Like I go to Italy and we are drinking wine, which they cannot put any chemicals in their wine. They can't add sugar and they can't add preservatives. You actually will go to prison, they told us, if you add anything to your wine.
Wow.
Drinking wine every day, eating late, staying up late. And we all collectively said like, we've never felt better.
Yeah.
And I know. And this goes back to like just how they center their meals around connection, about being in the moment, not rushing around and just like being in your community and obviously like not adding crap to your food and whatnot. So they're doing so many things right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that story so many times.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I love that. Okay. If you had any advice for like people who are feeling stuck with like, I feel like I have this brain fog. I feel like I'm going through the motions and I don't have good support with like my doctors. I don't really use my insurance. Like, what would be your advice for somebody who feels overwhelmed and getting started and like feeling better and having support to feel better with health and all the things? Like maybe even like thinking how you would talk to yourself 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Where should people start, or what's a good advice you would tell them to like get started in like maybe removing some of the things out of their life or adding the things? Like what would you tell them?
I think what's interesting about a lot of this stuff is I think we all like to think long term. I want to lose 60 pounds, and then you do it, and then you get started, and then you get frustrated. And what I've done with a lot of things is I've gone to 2 and 4 week goals. And like carnivore for me, and for anyone that I've had try carnivore, like 2 weeks. Like most people, all you need is 2 weeks of, you're gonna eat anyways. So like, just try it.
Yeah. Are you still doing carnivore?
No. Backed off.
You backed off.
I mean, I still eat probably 75%.
Yeah. And carnivore is just straight up, were you just doing steaks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steaks and eggs and burgers and lots of fats. So I do more carbs, and that's more for like muscle preservation with workouts and stuff, versus just only having protein on board.
Sorry, I'm like segueing, but how do you feel like compared to when you're just doing carnivore versus now adding in carbs? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel better on one or the other?
I mean, my from a workout standpoint, my workouts really sucked on carnivore.
Yeah.
Like from an energy standpoint, I'm totally a believer that like carbs are what should be fueling your workouts. And muscle preservation, again, if you're fasting or you don't have carbs on board, you're just eating away at your muscle for working out. So I've kind of shifted on that a little bit.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so
Sorry.
2 and 4 week goals has been a big one for
Two
you.
verticals, yeah. So like for me, my workouts change every month. If I want to change my diet and do carnivore, it's okay. The next 2 weeks, we're going to implement this.
Yeah.
And so just having these short chunks of going, look, I can do that for 2 weeks. I can do that for a month. And it's not do everything. It's do one thing this month, and then the next month you're going to do this, and so like steps. Okay, we're low on steps. Let's try and get 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
Let's do that for the next 30 days. And then you look back and go, did it help me? Did it not help me?
Yeah.
If it did, then you stack the next thing on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to get to the gym and lift weights 3 days a week, and I think people get overwhelmed of going, I can't change everything at once. It's too much. But when it just becomes your daily habits, for my wife and I, we're taking phone calls and getting our steps in, like it becomes normal to you.
Yeah.
Once you've added and implemented those things that that help you.
I love that. I think we all we think transformation means like black and white. You go all in, and it's like then you eat one cookie, now it's done. You give up, you quit, whatever. But I think it's like being realistic with your goals and starting with even just one and doing it for 2 weeks, mastering that. I love that. It makes it so much more like doable and achievable.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so if people are in Arizona and they're looking for support in a non-traditional way where they aren't using health insurance, they're not going through like the motions of sitting in a doctor's office, waiting forever, being seen by, for only 5 minutes, where could they find someone like you that could offer more of like a concierge collaborative care model? Like tell us a little bit about like what that looks like with Vital and how they can find you.
Yeah. So it's a movement of mostly clinicians that have worked for big corporations and said, hey, I want to do this on my own or a better way. And so that movement's called direct primary care, DPC. And so that's, is it concierge? Is it DPC?
Yeah.
Most people know what concierge is. So that's kind of what I just explained it as.
Yeah.
But it's not the concierge price tag.
Yeah, I know that. I think that's what's so huge. Like I'll tell people, oh yeah, we have Rylie from VitalAz. It's like, he's like, comes to our house and they're like, oh, you probably have so much money to spend on. I'm like, no, I'm literally saving money, not having health insurance and having our health share with Rylie.
Yeah. And I've always tried to hack that healthcare system of cost. And I've tried to explain that to people over the years and it just hasn't worked. And I think people are growing to, like we talked about earlier, make your healthcare or health insurance a math equation and not an emotional, decision.
Mm-hmm.
And when you march out, that 20 grand a year that you would spend to pay your premium, hit your deductible versus $5,000 a year for like, my stuff and a health share.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, wow, is 15 grand a year, saved on healthcare worth it to me?
And again, to not even be able to see a provider you want to see. And
right.
I also will just dive into that for real quick, just to explain, because I don't think we did yet. But so you have the options of health insurance. That could be through your employer or like you're a self-employed and you go to the marketplace and get health insurance. So that is where you pay your monthly, then you pay your deductible, then you have your co-insurance. That's like what we were all born and kind of like doctrinized to do, right? Health share, and you can color in what I might be missing, but health share is where you are paying a much smaller monthly due, which could be like $500, right? Let's say $500 towards this like communal health share. You pay that $500 every month for you or your family. And then if there was an emergency, or even if you got pregnant and needed to have a delivery, right? Like whatever emergency over a certain threshold, that health share will pay 100%. But they won't pay for like the little onesie, twosie doctor visits or urgent care that costs $50 or like, dental, It's more so for they will pay you 100% for anything catastrophic over a certain threshold, which is really where we need it.
Right.
We need health insurance so we don't go bankrupt over these $1 million claims or an accident, right? And so that's where like the difference would be you're paying towards a health share to be like really catastrophic coverage. But when you go to like a little doctor urgent care, you're paying out of pocket for that,
Yeah.
which seems scary to people.
Yeah.
But like cash pay, you're considered cash pay, which is
Right.
so much cheaper.
Yeah.
And really, if you really look at the cost that you're spending a year, like, are you really going to the doctor
Right.
100 times? Are you
Right.
really going to urgent? Like, there might be 1 or 2 visits,
Yeah.
right? Maybe. And so it's like looking at that cost difference.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would add anything more to that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a two-sided coin. And so, yeah, it's scary. Okay, I went to the dermatologist. What's my cash pay biopsy rate and stuff like that? We were hospitalized 7 days into being on a health share. Didn't even have the paperwork yet. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, because I was like, okay, we hit our $1,000 and like, I don't care how long we're here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what meds you have to give him. I know that every time we give him Tylenol, it's not $200 a vial,
Yeah.
you know, coming back to us. And so it was awesome. Like, we got our $1,000 bill and we were there for 3 days.
That's so awesome.
Versus, you know, the opposite when it's health insurance.
And are you using Zion? That's when you,
I use Zion, yeah.
that's what we switched because we were using Christian Health Ministries.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will be like, what is health share? Which one do I use? That one's super popular, but we just switched to Zion because of you. And we don't use it. So
yeah, no,
they've been great.
right. I haven't had to use it either. CHM kept getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
And their premiums were going up.
Yeah.
So Zion is pretty user friendly. Everyone I've talked to over there is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our goal is still, as our DPC concierge stuff, we want to provide 90% of what's actually going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, all of the pediatrics, primary care, urgent care, that's still us.
Yeah.
And then you use Zion for that 5 to 10% of the big stuff that happens.
So people could do their health insurance or health share, and then they could bring you in to their care plan and pay that like membership fee, if you will. And then they have direct access to you or another provider. And I love that it's tech support, call support, and just having that person on your team that is consistent too, like not a random doctor, which is so great. Do you see this model kind of going nationwide? Are you seeing more states kind of stepping into this, or like more practices? Because I don't really know a lot of states doing this. Or companies doing this.
Yeah, there's more, you know, clinicians that are again trying to step out. And so there's a good website, it's called DPC Mapper. And so you can type in your zip code and then it will like pull up, you know, all the practices that are registered like we are.
That's so nice.
In your area. So we get questions like that, you know, hey, I live in California, but like, is there someone out here that does what you do? So yeah, you can find them all over the place. I think they'll just continue to populate.
Yeah.
And it's really good care. You know, it's the providers running their own practice, and essentially you're the person that's paying our salary. So it's like, we want to provide the best experience and care for you, not just like, yeah, we work for Banner and, you know, whatever on to my next patient.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. So your Instagram is VitalAz, at VitalAz, right?
Yeah. Underscore something. Yeah.
Okay. So is it Vital_AZ?
I think it's underscore VitalAz.
Okay.
Underscore.
Okay.
Yeah.
We love the underscores. And then your website is at VitalAz.com. Okay, perfect. So that's where they can find you. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I mean, thanks for having me. I'm excited to continue using these guys.
That's it for today's episode of the Biohack Method. If this lit something up in you, do me a favor, share it, tag me at Lindsay Burwell Wellness, and drop a review. Ready to dive deeper? Head to the show notes for peptides, patches, and programs that are changing the game for high-performing women like you.